Hello.
Good evening, or morning, or wherever you are. Afternoon.
Wherever you are, in the evening, morning, or
Yeah.
afternoon.
Welcome back to Watch List, our podcast where every single Saturday until we decide not to, we talk about film and TV and other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a part 2, so
If you can watch it, we'll talk about it.
we'll list it.
We'll list it.
But today you probably don't want to watch it because we are continuing to talk about our university films. This is part 2, so welcome back. Welcome back. If you watch part 1, if you haven't seen part 1, go check out part 1 because there's lots of juicy drama.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I'd skip part 2.
For legal reasons, we can't talk too much about.
We're not signed NDAs. If somebody was a prick in uni, we're going to say that they were a prick in uni.
Are you going to replace their name or just be
No.
Or say you will, but it's actually not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
fucking Alan, not his real name, was.
He's the key. Today we're talking about third year.
Yes,
The
graduation year.
final year of the BA, in which hopefully everything comes to fruition. Maybe. Who knows?
Well, we know because it was how many years ago now?
Quite a few.
4.
Quite a few. Because I know we talked about the previous 2 years and they were a bit tumultuous, up and down, left to right, side to side, you're under. And the third year now, hopefully, we're going to now hear all positivity. All of it. Complete positivity from start. So, speaking of positivity, why don't you start off? I assume you were the same as me. You did 2 films?
I did 3 films.
Shit.
Yeah.
I did 2. I did a 6-minute and a 15-minute.
Yeah.
Oh! But then there's more. We'll come to that. I actually have 4 to talk about.
Right, so you didn't do 2
But only
then.
2 official ones. We'll get to that. But you kick us off. So what did you do? What did you do in your third year?
Right, so
Paint the picture.
I
Crayons.
I wrote a film called Writer's Block.
Ooh.
Meta. And the way they did third year was you pitched it at the end of second year or something.
Yeah, because I remember the tutor talking about that was her plan for because you were the next year after. So. And
then a producer and a writer basically spent the summer putting something together.
Or like a pitch deck or something.
Yeah, essentially.
You didn't have to start writing it, did you?
I think I had a draft that was dramatically different to what I ended up with. It was basically about a fantasy author who wanted to move on from writing these young adult fantasy books, so was planning on writing something completely different, like an adult murder mystery type thing or something. And in the first draft, the pixies from the book come to the real world and basically torture her to write the books again. Oh. It was basically the League of Gentlemen movie, League of Gentlemen Apocalypse, where the characters come to the real world because their world is dying because the writers are moving on to do whatever they want to do next. Mm-hmm. And I had it quite clear in my I think it was very ambitious, and
there was pixies coming to life. That sounds
again, I was like, well, there's a green screen in the uni. Why could we not just use that? But yeah, ambition tends to get kind of... If you've not done it before, a certain thing, they'll be like, oh, maybe don't try it. And I'm like, well, it's the first film of the graduation year. Experimentation, why not?
I mean, I guess at that point you kind of have built up a decent sort of understanding and knowledge of yourself
Yeah.
and other people that you want to work with. So at that point, you'd be like, yeah, this is... Hopefully, you've sort of learned from the previous... That's what I found anyway. Learn from the previous 2 years. Learn what you don't want to do, what you do, and learn what you want to do, and then hopefully third year is when you get to do it.
Yeah. I think my producer was too supportive. Wasn't...
Kept saying yes.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
It was
Yes,
very
woman.
much a yes man. It's actually a woman.
Yes.
Very progressive. And then I think, speaking with tutors, we basically changed it slightly so that it was still a writer of fantasy books who was bored of writing these books, but their agent was the one who was like, no, you need to keep going, like, why don't you revisit this character or do this thing?
Right.
And then the author basically kept on flipping between the author and as the main character, the heroine in the book. We filmed it in Forest Fire.
Oh, right, okay. So you saw the sort of fantasy
Yeah,
world as well.
sort of a parallel. I crop up in there as
Of course.
yeah. Well, it was an excuse to put a helmet on and a tabard and do a very silly sort of like Monty Python-esque knight character,
Right.
which was a lot of fun to do. But there was like climbing involved, so
It's your script.
yeah. I don't know why it looked funny, so I was like, yeah, that's funny. That'd
And
be
then
good
he
on screen.
kisses all the women, and you're like,
And
why
then,
did I get
and
that?
then they did
Why-
rewrites.
why
and I was
did I-
like, what do you mean? He goes past the camera and gets to kiss all the crew. Maybe.
That's a... Yeah.
Oh right, so it's fine if it's on camera, but if you get close to
what's
the crew,
what's the
it's
point
weird.
in that? And you know.
It breaks the fourth wall, doesn't it?
Oh right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anywho, none of that happened. But there's a bit where
Allegedly.
she's sort of like going through the. Then there was a reference to the Pixies, because in one of the set design classrooms, because we got on quite well with the set designers on that first project.
Was it that you were paired with them
Yeah.
for the first time? Yeah.
Yeah, and then the second one, I think you got to choose who was
Oh okay.
like for the grad film. You got to pick,
Okay. Okay.
or they
Interesting.
picked. Like you basically pitched it, and then they were like, "Oh well, I'd like to work on that one. That sounds fun."
Oh, we pitched it for the first one, and then we stuck with them for the second one.
Oh, okay. No, we didn't do that. But there were these like tiny little skeletons, so we dressed them up as pixies, and they were just like in one of the shots, and it's like the pixies from the original draft. They're just dead.
Like that draft.
Yeah.
Dead.
Dog.
So what was your crew? Was your crew people you'd worked with in the previous years? Or
No,
was it
so
new people?
this is where a little bit of drama gets involved. Yeah. Werewolf. We can talk about werewolves in a minute when we get to the grad film.
All right.
But my producer had already worked with the cinematographer.
Right.
So when it came to pitching, we weren't pitching at all. I had prepared a pitch, we did a pitch, and then she just picked the cinematographer that she'd worked with before.
Okay. What about the rest of the crew? Director, I assume.
So, director was. I know who it was, but I can't remember how. I think he just wanted to do it.
If you worked with him before.
I hadn't worked with him before. I was friends with him, but I hadn't worked with him
Right.
before. Then our sound recordist was.
Deaf.
No, it was who then became my producer on the grad film.
Okay.
Because we
Climbing the
we
ladder.
didn't really know each other. Like I knew her partner,
Right.
and got on well with him. And then we worked on this film and also on the other film that I was doing parallel to this. And I think we had such a laugh because writer's block was a disaster to like film. Just because the crew didn't like see eye to eye, and there was a bit of drama there. So in the end, we were just like, we'll just have a fucking laugh. And
so was it, obviously you said about the forest, but was it also like, was it interiors? Was it like, were you using the uni build? Was it offices?
no, so there was it was mostly exterior in the forest. There was a when she's on the phone to her agent at the beginning, the agent is in a sort of rooftop,
balcony.
Like a rooftop kind of terrace thing.
Yeah, okay.
And that's like to show that she's like, you know, successful agent kind of thing. I wasn't there on that day of shooting. Somebody else, the rest of the crew were there, but I don't know why I was. I think I wasn't there because I was on the other film or something. But yeah, I it's an idea that I'd like to look back at because it had more potential than was in the final thing. One of the lecturers was really sort of like key to champion. There was sort of a feminist ideal behind it, and the fact that like she's been pushed around by everybody else, whereas if she was given the author was given opportunity to do what she wanted to do, she could defeat. And the very end of it was we had a dragon in it,
as you do,
which was incredibly ambitious. And what I actually wanted was a stop motion dragon or a puppet of some kind. What we got was some very sort of crudely done computer animation, and the lighting's taken way down just to kind of like hide.
What did the dragon have to do? Was it like, is it just appears in shot, or does it have to fly, swoop down and
it just appears in shot and speaks, and yeah, it was fine. Again, I feel like if we had the time, stop motion would have been cooler. It would have lent itself a little bit more to the idea. But yeah, the idea is that the knight character that I played was kind of like the fantasy world equivalent of her ex-partner, and the dragon was the agent.
Oh, okay, right. So,
Yeah, but whilst we were doing that, we were also Elle, friend of the pod, had written an idea that they pitched and no one showed any interest in, which was insane because it was a really cool concept.
I mean, just to correct you, a friend of the pod, Dead Dog Walking member.
Oh, Dead Dog Walking member, of course. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So it was called Thank You, and it's about this guy who's been invited to like a uni reunion.
The horror. It's a horror film.
Horror film, yeah. And he doesn't want to go, or like he's telling himself he doesn't want to go, and his inner voice, represented by the same actor but like playing dual roles.
Okay, gotcha.
And he keeps on appearing in people around him. So as he walks past somebody on the street, as the person walks past him, it's played by somebody else. Then he turns around, and then it is
him.
The actor in the costume.
Right.
And it's him basically, his inner voice basically bullying him into going to the thing, like, and he sees a few different characters again. I have a little cameo in there because, of course, but yeah, because nobody sort of championed it, I was like, no, this is great. This needs to work somehow. So I volunteered to be on the film.
In what capacity?
I want to say I directed it, but
you're not sure.
But well, I always, when I'm directing somebody else's written work, I don't know. I think it's something that I need to get better at, but I don't feel much ownership, so I don't impose. I kind of just am there, and I'm just like, well, we do this and do that, and if you're happy, and I do revert back to the writer. But again, I think I need to get better at that because that's not how things work. Like, writers don't get... I think because I'm a writer, I want to give that much respect to other writers. But that's not how the industry works.
It's a shift, yeah. It's a shift to learn that. And because we've done now a few short films where we've written and sort of directed it as well and had quite a big ownership on things, it's hard then to go, to break away, like you said, and do someone else's work.
And the person who done sound on Writer's Block also did sound on this one.
And was it correct that
and had a cameo
that
as well.
Ben, who we know you met on Writer's Block, he did the music for Writer's Block?
Yes.
So Ben
didn't meet him because I was just the writer.
Right.
I didn't really like. That's why I didn't kind of like put two and two together until he said it.
Yeah.
Because physically didn't meet. I don't think I've ever physically met.
So just
Ben.
Ben.
Oh no, once I think.
Friend of Paul. Well, friend of Dead Dog Walking.
Yeah.
Did the music for our 3 films we've done. So.
But yeah, has done soundtrack. He's done soundtrack for 4 films that I've worked on. But yeah, the set dressers on Dead. In Writer's Block, really put a shift in. I've still got a shield from that they made for it.
Nice.
Because what I want again, I kind of wanted very sort of Python-esque humour in there. As I say, there's a bit where the main character, as the kind of heroine, full armour, is walking through this like upper verge or something, and it has like a drop. And as she gets close enough, I sort of clamber up the other side of this verge, and that was where the climbing was involved. But it looked silly because I was kind of like pulling myself up and.
Was it meant to be?
Well, I don't think until we got there, and I was kind of like
doing.
Hefting myself up this thing, and everyone was laughing. I was like, fuck it, I'll leave.
It's comedy now.
Yeah, it's comedy now. No, but some of it was supposed to be funny. And then at the end, when she's approaching the sort of dragon's lair, again, that was in like a big sort of dip, and then there was like scattered like jewels and broken armor and things like that. And then the idea was, because it was supposed to be a cave, and there is a cave in Forest Fire, but you can't film in there because of the bats.
Right.
Which was such a shame, because that would have been... But I even said at one point, well, could we not do it in a studio? Could we approach the cave and then go into the studio and
do
build
a blackout sort of...
Yeah.
You probably could have done that.
Yeah. I think with a different producer, it might have been different, and they might have listened more to ideas.
There's a lot of like negotiation and compromise you've got to do at you.
Yeah.
Just to... With Thank You, was that... I assume that was more of like a straight drama in terms of it didn't have like elaborate sets or costumes and things, or was
it was mostly filmed outside. Like, I think the first like there's like the first clip is him brushing his teeth, and he's run out of toothpaste, I think is the idea. So that's why he has to leave his house, and he's on his way to get this, but he's also like got this invitation, and he's like, I don't want to. I need to go and get toothpaste. I don't care about this invitation. I'm not going because the girl I like is with somebody else and has been since uni, and he's a dick, and so he didn't want to get involved in that. And then he's on this journey, and he keeps on meeting other people. So there was I think costume was the main one,
right?
And I think the production design lecturer was angry about the fact that we didn't have sets to build for them, or because it was all mostly costume based.
Right.
And we had 2 set designers. One was a fucking lazy bitch who didn't want to do any work whatsoever. And the other one was really, really talented. But I think the strain that was put on by the fact that she was the only actual one that was working got to her in the end, I think.
Right,
was
a
problem. But again, it's because the other one didn't fucking do anything.
It's annoying.
And then Last thing I will say about writer's block with that shield I've got. The idea was supposedly it was going to be a sign that was like beware the beast, but then it kind of supposedly trailed off. The paintbrush was supposed to be like, as if it whoever had written it had been
killed,
attacked as they were.
Yeah.
And I thought that was quite funny. We had to do it on a shield in the end or whatever, so it kind of has that on there. But I don't think again, if it's a gag, you kind of want to hold on it long enough that we get it.
You don't see it.
You don't really see it that well. Yeah, I think that is an idea that I would go back to. But then, yeah. So thank you again. Lots of costumes. Couple of props, but nothing major. And then there's like a weird bit at the very end, or like just before the very end, where he gets in his own mind and he's he sees a thing in the charity shop window. Oh yeah, we filmed in the charity shop for that. We had a day up in Whitchurch.
That's the one we went into, and do you recognise you or something? Or you talked about?
Oh, so not the same charity shop, same guy. He used to work in that other charity shop. Now he works in this one.
Damn, he jumped charities.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the same.
He's like, I don't care about those kids anymore.
Fuck them kids.
I'm more into cancer.
Well, it was. Yeah, it was. I think it was Noah's Ark Children's Foundation or something that was running the original one.
I'm not getting on there again.
Fuck that.
After that flooding, fucking hell.
Best place to go, surely, for the flood. No, that's the whole point in the story, right? Anywho. So yeah, he finds this like suit in the charity shop window, and he's like, "Oh yeah, maybe I could wear that." But it's like purple, and the voice in his head's like, "You look like a twat."
Bit too much Wonka. Anyone?
Yeah, Wonka. Anyone? It was like a toned down purple. It wasn't. And then because we kind of played fast and loose with the reality of this, because he's talking to himself, like, so he's looking at the thing, and then all of a sudden he's wearing the jacket, and then he just keeps on walking. So like you can put two and two together and go, he's got it and bought that without seeing him go in and buy that.
No shortcuts.
Yeah. And then he walks away, and again there's like this businessman who's wearing a tie that I still own. Because again, there was a bit where it's just like, has anyone got anything that looks like these things? And I was like, I've got this coat and I've got these ties.
Has anyone got anything that this old man could wear? Oh, actually.
Yeah, I do.
Me actually.
And my cameo was a bin man. There's
rubbish.
Yeah, it was rubbish. Basically, he's rifling through a bin or something, and he throws the inner voice guy throws a condom at
the bin man,
the main guy. Oh. No, and then
does it himself.
The main guy goes ugh and throws it back, and it lands on, because he thinks he's throwing it back to his inner voice who's in the bin man costume, but then it cuts back and it's me as the bin man.
Right.
So what they did was they got a condom and they filled it with coconut conditioner.
Nice. That'll do good for your skin.
Slapped right on my face. It's a very, very gross cameo.
Proud moment.
I thought it was very funny.
Are you in every single film you've ever done?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't in the puppet one.
But that was like a clause in your contract. Will appear.
Well, I don't choose to be in all the Dead Dog Walking ones.
Who knows what the future of that is?
Well, I can't be in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anywho.
So you'd say that Writer's Block didn't turn out as good as you thought it was. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Brilliant.
Turned out good.
Yeah.
Good.
I think it could have done well at festivals. We put it forward for the Pigeon Laughs. Oh, yeah. And I think it was the first year they did it.
Right.
And it was in there, and it was nice to see it.
Nice.
But it wasn't quite a comedy. Like, it had comedic elements.
Yeah, but it didn't
quite. Yeah, I don't think it quite had its.
I mean, it was nice that you got to do two films parallel to each other, And if one was sort of, if you, like you said, if you knew one was a bit of a shit show, at least you kind of had the other one to lean on a bit.
Yeah, that helped, I think.
And they were both, how long were they?
Oh God, I don't know.
10 minutes?
Probably about 10 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think it was 10 minutes and then like the final one was up to 15, right? Or 15 to 20 maybe, but we stopped at 15 because we were told about film festivals,
yeah.
which I think helps. But then I'm pretty sure the year after us were told that they could do like 15 to 25. I'm like, what's the fucking point?
They did one film then, I think, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. They just did one big, yeah. Which is, fair enough. But yeah, no, I would say Thank You was my favourite out of those two, like how they both panned out.
Cool.
Yeah. What about you? What were your first films of third year?
So going in, like I said this before, we kind of had a point to prove. I think we had a real sort of, not a chip on our shoulder, but we were like, we didn't make the films we wanted to make in second year. Now this is the last chance. We've got to put our all into it. So we sort of formed a crew. I think it was kind of over the summer, maybe the first sort of month of the semester, possibly a month or two after that. And we had I actually remember in the summer, or must have been about August, maybe September, so before it actually began, me and Dan, Dead Dog Walking Dan, we basically started just watching loads of short films, and we had this big whiteboard on our wall. We used to just scribble everything down. We just put words and things and just sort of write them down and see what would happen. And then at the same time, we were forming the crew, people we worked with in second year that got on with us. They were friends, and also some new people as well, to form this sort of really solid crew that we know we could rely on, and hopefully we're in on the ideas that we'd be bringing. So unlike you, we didn't have to do any pitch or anything. It was we were given the brief. It was a 6-minute film. There probably was some sort of like theme word or something we were given, but I think it was pretty bendable. You could kind of flex it around as you wished, really. And we knew we were going to be partnered up with, we'd have to pitch this to the production, the art design and production design students, which was nice because we hadn't done that before. And so we were watching some Ari Aster films, who you'll know from directing Hereditary and Midsummer, and his early shorts are mad. They are so out there. And somewhere along in one of them, there was something about a poisonous plant. And then we just wrote poisonous plant down, and that was one of the words. And then we were looking at Grimm fairy tales. We had this rough idea of a salesman who basically would sell people what they wanted but not what they needed. That was like a sort of fairy tale-esque thing. But eventually we just kept going back to this poisonous plant. And we also were looking at ourselves. So it was me and Dan were going to write it, but I'm trying to think at the time whether I was going to direct it or not, but maybe I was, I can't remember. And we were kind of thinking about ourselves and sort of personal experience and things, and we came across this sort of theme of jealousy and how sort of strong and powerful that can be. And eventually, long story short, we got to this idea of Bloom, which was about a flower that was jealous of this man's affection for things other than herself or themselves or whatever the flower was. I think we always called it her just because it was easier, but and so I think the script ended up being like 3 pages long. It was really short. It was all movement. I'm trying to think if we were told not to use dialogue or not. I think we could have, but we chose not to. It was all sort of done just visual. We pitched it to the production team. We had two, the art department. We had 2 of them that I think we had a few, but 2 of them kind of said they're really interested. And they were asking questions while we were doing the pitch. And we were like, that's good because they obviously are listening and they care. And then they sent us like the sort of CVs and the stuff like that. And it was like, oh, okay, these 2 really, they clearly have a passion for it, which was really lucky for us because we needed, it was a small crew, probably about, in total, probably by the end of it, no more than it's probably like 8 of us, possibly a bit more. So we worked on it for a few months. I was directing it. and one of the things that we really wanted to do was test shoot it. So we basically ended up filming the film like 3 times before we actually shot it. We did it in like a field, and we were going through like how would we make this killer flower, because she had to sort of transform at the end into something that could sort of attack someone. So it was like, how do we do that? And it was like looking at Evil Dead and looking at reverse shots, and our cinematographer was looking at all influences that they had, and sort of we also went, oh god, fucking location scan was a bitch, because we wanted a clearing in a forest, which sounds easy, but it was not like we went to so many different places. We had to find a place that we could sort of get to reasonably easy, but it was like, I think we ended up in, I think it was Forest Farm maybe.
Yeah, they've got some good clearings.
And it was just like, we went to St. Fagans and in the woods back there. We went to a couple, and we just went near Castle Cock? Castle Cock?
Well, that's where Forest Fire is.
Oh.
I believe.
Then that wasn't where we filmed then. There's another forest we filmed, but it wasn't.
It's quite far, like, it's at one end, I believe. I might have that wrong, but yeah.
Okay. And we did actually find a really good place near the castle, but there was like work being done in the forest,
right,
which was really loud, and there was construction things everywhere. We're like, great. And because it was all set exterior, the basic story is there's a bird watcher. He's a loner. He's on his own, and he basically meets this flower, and she sings to him, and he kind of looks after her, and then he meets this other bird watcher, who kind of takes the attention away from Bloom, and so she, in retaliation, devours him in 6 minutes. And so yeah, we eventually found the forest. So we test shoot it, we did all the things. We went up to I'm trying to think, it was like the arts college. I'm trying to think where it was. There's an arts college somewhere around here. Went up there and spoke to some prop students up there that were really happy to do Bloom for us, because she needed to be sort of puppet. We ummed and ahed about whether she'd be a full puppet, whether it be stop motion. And I think maybe we kind of compromised a little bit, and we had her be like a sort of plastic flower until she transforms, in which she turns into this sort of latex, sort of really odd looking thing. It didn't turn out how we wanted it ideally, but obviously everyone
has said, like, since when we started 3rd year and we were doing like writer's block and things, Bloom was the thing that they showed us, and they were really like proud of it.
Yeah, I think it was nice that because we were working, we were doing so much extracurricular stuff. We were having meetings, whole crew meetings. It would always be the whole crew. Everyone was involved at every stage, and obviously the sort of art department as well. They, we had many late nights just sort of doing work, but then obviously socializing as well. And the test shoots were really good. And the tutor, both tutors on both film and the art side, they really liked us, which was nice. They kind of got what we were trying to do, and they supported us. I mean, the art department, Jo, she actually drove us, to that art college and back, which was nice. And then we ended up, we were filming in November. We had a sort of a massive, a kind of crazy setback the day before, which was our producer basically couldn't do the shoot, which meant that we didn't have a producer. Was like, fuck, like they were liaising with the actors and the crew, and it's like shit. And I had to do a lot of that whilst also directing. It was freezing. I mean, not freezing, you know what I mean? It was bloody cold, and I think I'd prepped. I had like my big massive trench coat, and I had loads of layers. I had massive sort of insulated welly boots. Like, I was ready, but the actors weren't. So it was like, you felt bad because the actors were stood around and they were, really, you could tell they were cold. But we shot it over 2 days, I think it was 2 days.
You talking about how cold it was has reminded me of, on Thank You, there's a night shoot that we did under an underpass,
right,
up at Gabalfa roundabout. Basically,
right.
It was underneath there,
and
it was fucking cold. Like, it was a 20-minute walk from where we lived, so we weren't that far away from the house at the time. So under my clothes, I put a hot water ball. Everyone was complaining about how cold it was. I was like, I don't think it's too bad.
That's good. Yeah, I had gloves, hat, everything.
And Brooke was in that film. I completely forgot to mention.
Thank You?
Brooke was in Thank You.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
at the end, she was like the girl from the uni that he was
Right.
trying to impress.
And so, yeah, it was called. I think now I'm remembering. I think we were told to do a film that was exterior. I think because I'm
Right.
trying to think of other groups, and I'm remembering a lot of exterior stuff. So that might be the case. But of course, it was winter, so it's November. So that means it gets dark really quickly. So we had to get there, at dawn basically. But the shoot, I will say, was very enjoyable. It was. We all knew what we were doing because we'd done the test shoots. The set design was quite simple, but we kind of, again, everyone knew what they were doing because we'd gone through it so many times and we knew exactly what we were doing. Even with the sort of, we had the editor on set, so it was like so he knew how it would look in the edit, what he would need, and and everyone worked really well together. We had a great time, even though it was cold. I think it was just we were in a woods. It was, it was funny having like dog walkers come through and be like, "What the hell are you doing?" But it did obviously get dark really fast. We did all right actually with our schedule, but I do clearly remember because obviously we're in the middle of a forest.
Yeah.
There's no lights. There's no so I remember us basically rigging the lights to our backs like as backpacks, and then we'd walk in a line so that the light would shine behind on the person behind as we were carrying all this kit out the woods. Which was like a little sort of forest adventure in pitch black. The film turned out really well. We had a bit of a setback with our composer. He basically... I'm just trying to think how we met him. He wasn't part of the uni. He was something external sort of thing. And he wasn't basically getting the notes that we were giving him. There's this montage in the middle, which is this sort of falling in love montage, which had to be... We always thought that the vibe was sort of a mix between sort of the Disney princess sort of... the movement was very graceful and like slow-mo, and like when I don't know, Cinderella's brushing the floor or whatever, there's like this sort of feel to it, but then the music would be very sort of fantastical and have that feeling as well, and composer just wasn't getting it. And so we kind of had to fire him. Like it was just like we had another composer that came in, Sam, who then we worked with basically on all those films then, and he did a fantastic job in the time. I think actually that was for the full release, maybe the original composer did the submission release. But yeah, it turned out really well. I've still got Bloom. I've still got both versions of Bloom. And again, similar with you, she basically, as she's attacking, she kind of gives out this very suspicious looking white gunk, which was done on purpose.
Why is that the same as me?
And it was also coconut shampoo, I think,
and
conditioner.
Because when you said I've shot out coconut conditioner looking gunk before, but it's the way that you phrased it. It's the way that you phrased it. It was like...
I also do remember we were kind of prepped, but there was one thing we were missing, and that was there's a scene where he waters her with a watering can.
No.
And we went around all of Cardiff and we could not find a watering can.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And I don't know, and it was quite funny because we bumped into like another film crew that were looking for things as well. And we were all like, why can't we find the one little thing that we need?
Yeah, but that's always the case. Like, that was the case on Make-A-Wish.
Oh, yeah, there were some things we just couldn't. But you think watering can? Like, I guess it's winter, so it's not going to... We ended up just getting a water bottle and punching holes in it. But yeah, it turned out really well. And like you said, it was been nice that we showed it to... It had like a... I remember us showing it a few times and talking about it because they wanted us to talk about it. And I remember showing it... I don't know, I assume you did the thing where... You had a couple of like lecturers or guests that said about, talked about it. And I know that Bearwin from Iris came, he had really nice things to say about it. And afterwards as well, he came up to us and said, he was going on about all this fetish stuff, which we had talked about before about, the sort of sexual nature of it in a way.
Yeah, because it's quite an erotic film.
I remember our tutor saying to us, she was like, so, are you guys scared of vaginas? Like,
who was your lecturer?
So Inga.
Right,
Inga loved us because
but I feel like Inga would say that to anyone at any point, just randomly.
But yeah, so Make-A-Wish, Bloom. It's too many shitty short films. Bloom was that was the saga of Bloom.
Huh.
But yeah, she's still, God knows how she is, because she's made of latex. She is in a sealed box, but she's in my parents' shed. I don't know how. I don't know how she's coping. Bless her.
Can't be well.
So, where do you want to go next, or?
Yeah, I've spoken about 2. You've spoken about 1 so far. How many? You
All right, I'll
about?
go straight on to strapping everyone. So, whilst we were doing the editing for Bloom, we basically we beefed up the crew a little bit. We had a new director come in, and I was like, I'd like to write it. I've got this idea. So it's like, right, okay, cool. You start working on that while we're editing Bloom, so we can get a good start. When the next film comes about, because it's going to be 15 minutes long. It's going to be more ambitious. It's our grad film. It needs, So I started working on this, and they had a stupidly ambitious anthology idea, which in hindsight would have been really silly, because
in 15 minutes.
That would have been 3 different films in one.
Yeah.
And so I eventually, I learned that wasn't going to happen. I think after a couple of meetings, they were like, yeah, this is just, they were like, we like the idea, but it's just too much. And I got to the point where I was kind of clutching at straws for certain parts, because I was trying to get it to force it to work. But eventually we went back to the drawing board, and again, Dan and me, we went through different things. We looked at, sort of really, we like to say, unpacking. I looked at my experiences, my sort of mental health at the time, my personal issues, my everything, my fears, my anxieties. We kind of got it all out on, just ejected it sort of onto the whiteboard and onto paper and things. And then we tried to form a sort of a basic story from that. And what came of that is it became about a hypochondriac who becomes friends with a suicidal children's entertainer. And that was kind of the log line that we gravitated towards quite quickly. And we're like, oh shit, that's pretty good. That's pretty strong.
Yeah.
And so it became Vanishing Act, which...
Disappearing Act.
We... Not Disappearing Act, according to other lecturers at the time. Dark comedy. Again, we've spoken about Inside Number 9 before, Martin Madowner. We kind of love that style, and we kind of lent into it quite a lot. As a writing process, I think I did something ridiculous, like all in all, probably 30 drafts. There was the writing process killed me, and for a while I basically not disassociated myself, but I didn't click with the film, because I had done so many drafts, and so many things had been changed. And at the time I was quite, especially when you're younger and you're right, you're kind of precious about certain things, and you kind of think, I think I did probably say at a meeting, I was like, well, why is the cinematographer telling me what this story should be? Not as harsh as that, but I kind of was trying to get to that. I was like, I know this is a group effort, but I got a bit on my high horse a little bit, and I was like, oh, you're changing this idea that I love, and because massive scenes got changed. I mean, the basic structure was the same, but there was characters that were in it to begin with that got removed, and a lot changed. And one of the big parts is the part which I'm very glad I lost the argument at, which is the sort of big stage performance with the sort of I've forgotten his name. I forgot my own character's name, because I was going to say Ray. It's not Ray, because that's Zippo. I've completely forgotten. Name's completely gone.
The entertainer.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of his name. It's not Bernard. Buffoon Bill. Bill, there we go. That sort of big segment where he does this big performance, but then reality sort of slips in, and you have... Anyway, I'm not going to try and explain the whole plot, because it's pretty sort of dense. So the writing process was very difficult, and it kind of had a real toil on me, because it was just constantly getting notes all the time. I sort of felt to myself, they're never going to be happy. But the pressure was on. It had to, the script had to be in a place where everyone liked it, and that it would work. So eventually, again, we did the similar process, but because I was just a writer, I was a little less attached to it, but I still was there, but obviously the director, and doing test shoots, which was a lot of fun in the studio, going through things, changing the script as we went. We had So again, the same production designers were here again, but they had much more to do, including building a guillotine,
Right.
which was in the script, which was this sort of, because he's like a sort of he's like a sort of Paul Daniels, Tommy Cooper-esque character, and he's kind of got this big guillotine, and so that had to be built. Luckily, we had good old Chris from the workshop to help us out. Built this guillotine, which while it didn't have like a blade, it was still dangerous. Like if you dropped that on someone's head, it would hurt, to say the least. We also had, so again, I think we were partnered with costume designers, but they were basically nabbed by another film that was just like absorbing everyone like a black hole.
Right.
There was this big film that was being made that were trying to be like the best ever. Their budget was like twice ours, and they were just stealing everyone. And we were like,
well, that's not very fair.
So then the costume designer, Joanne, who we've worked with at Make-A-Wish, she was like, right, I'm sorry about this, guys, but I'll do it. So she made our costumes, which looked amazing. These clown costumes, really nice. I think the actors were fantastic. We went up to Merthyr to find this old theatre that was sort of run down, and it had such a great aesthetic to it. And we were like, right, we're using that. And then, long story short, we ended up filming it. I think the filming experience was a bit rockety. Rockety? Is that a word? Rickety?
Rickety? Rocky?
But because I wasn't the director, I was kind of like a slight... I think I was boom mopping, and I was like... I could sit on the sidelines a bit, but there was some stress, some arguments, some real difficulties there, but everyone managed to bounce back every day and be like, right, how do we improve? How do we, get going on these things? Because it did a lot, it was these two characters that met in the theatre. There was this performance, there was this puppet show, there was a beheading, spoilers, like there was a lot going on with it. It was trying to do quite a lot. And the poor bloody cameraman, cinematographer who had to hold this bloody the Arri Alexa camera,
right,
which are massive.
Yeah.
I think he had to have like a back brace or something because it was really heavy. Trying to think, and then eventually it got done. We on the last day, was it last day? Well, the last proper filming day, everything was going smoothly, and then our actor crashed the van. The hire van that we hired to. It wasn't a crash, but it was like someone went banged into the side of him, scratched the door, and that blew our budget off because it was just we were okay until then, obviously because I imagine you did the same crowdfunding.
Yes.
On both our films, you did a lot of crowdfunding, and it's just trying to get people to.
I think we did the bulk of the crowdfunding on the grad.
Yeah. Yeah, I think ours was 1,500 on the graph.
Yeah, ours was about that, but I think it might have gone over a bit.
Because obviously we have puppets as well. Again, we used the same people we used for Bloom, which was nice. It was nice to keep people on, and be like, oh, you like what we do, you like what we've made. Like,
well,
there's no money here.
Yeah, would it be advisable to try and go back and work with them again, do you think? Or
could be. Could be. Because sometimes it's like, are you doing it just because you're doing the course, or are you doing it because you actually really love it? Because these art department, like I said, that they had to build a guillotine, which is probably not, they're not meant to do that. They had to obviously the concept art and storyboards, and they had to do so much more than just set design. Like, there was so much they had to do. And we think Vanish Out ended up, I think, really good. So I think it ended up being something that we were incredibly proud of by the end of it, and I kind of eventually simmered down. I wasn't part of the editing process at all. Really, I think I only saw cuts. There was one big contention about one particular thing that was that caused the editor and the director and producer to... Oh, God, I remember, there's one argument in the atrium hall they were having about eyeline and things, and there was one shot which had a great performance, but the eyeline was off, and so there was a big clash between which of those two things should be prioritised. And we had Sam again, the composer, and I just remember going to the screening and showing it off, and ours was the final film, which is delightful. And people then coming up and being like, wow, because it hopefully it had that big wallop at the end, which at certain points the director was like, is this wise? And we had lecturers going like, we don't think you should end it like that, but we stuck to our guns. We're like, nah, we're not changing that. And I'm glad we did. And then it went on to some festivals, which was nice. Got nominated for RTS, which was nice. And yeah, it was a sort of massive undertaking, but it worked out really well in the end. And kept in touch with the people that, and people that we've worked with since as well, that may help bring those films to life. So, in essence, that was the end of my uni, but it wasn't. But it was. I don't know. Over to you, Maestro.
So, yeah, I got on very well with the sound recordist on Thank You and
Pre-sound,
and the other one, Writer's Block, and she was considering producing something. Her partner was coming on board as sound recording.
damn, she'd passed the mantle on.
Yeah. Well, because I think he was known as like the sound guy.
Okay.
In the year.
Yeah.
And his mate was an editor. They had a friend who was a director. And I said, well, I've got an idea. It is fucking ambitious. It's a period drama. But if we're ever going to do it, it's going to be the grad film.
Well, you pitched it before, or you pitched it for this?
Pitched it for this.
So you hadn't said about it before?
No. Because I had been. I was like, it's sort of a field in England meets Witchfinder in general. And because we had filmed in Forest Fire for the previous film, and because we had filmed in Cosmoston Medieval Village for the film the year before, I was like, well, those are pretty solid locations that we can get around using.
Yep, and for free.
For free as well, which is great. Costumes is going to be the main one, and props and things, but apart from that, I think we can do it relatively like low budget for a period drama. And we luckily they were all on board, and they're like, yeah, that sounds really great. We did a lot of like social media stuff to kind of push the crowdfunding elements. Like we did like a bunch of videos and social media posts, and we did like a 12 Days of Christmas, like, because it started just before like Christmas, sort of like late November, I want to say.
Yeah.
So we did a little like Advent thing. So each day was like a different post, but it was basically just like, here's like a fun thing. Also,
give us money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, we rewrote we did like a parody of the 12 Days of Christmas, and it was like 5 pieces of concept art and blah, 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 3 facts about Oliver Cromwell, because that was around the same time period as the Civil War.
Man.
He was a man.
White
man. That sounded like you were guessing there.
British.
Yeah.
3 facts.
3 facts. So yeah, I think we had a lot of fun there. We also always we hung out a lot. At the end of like working on it, pre-production days, we'd all hang out, including like the production designers. We'd go for drinks and stuff.
It does help. Though, it helps everything.
We'd play pool and things. Like we just had a social life together. That helped kind of like for the film, I think. we auditioned, and I vividly remember it because myself and the director had set up auditions in the uni, but they were mostly quite staggered. So we were there for the whole day, but there was about 6 to maybe 10
Right.
auditions
At different
in
times.
the day at different
So you had
times.
to sort of hang around.
So we hung around. So our solution for that was, in between every audition, go and have a pint in the SU and play some pool.
Right.
So it was a lot of fun. But I think maybe by the end of the day, we were a little bit... that's really good. Yeah, do it again.
Great. Take the wig off.
So yeah, we auditioned. I think we got some brilliant actors for each role. We did a table read, which I was quite excited about because
That's a good idea.
It's what I had written. But we really crammed a lot into that day because we did a table read, and then the girl who did the costumes came in and did costume fittings with them and like wigs and things.
Did you have rehearsals or just table read?
That was sort of it.
Because we didn't have any of that. The only time our actors came in was to measure up costumes. I think maybe there was a bit of rehearsal, and now I just remember there was a studio day. Again, you said about social media. We were trying to do a lot at the time. I remember there was one day where we all had our face painted like clowns.
Right.
And then we did like a promo video there of like talking about the film. And but yeah, the one thing you don't get in any short films really.
Not really.
Is rehearsal.
Yeah.
For the cast, that is. Obviously, crew is a bit different, but...
Yeah, because that's, again, it depends how small the crew is, but if you're a small crew, you can kind of just, like, film it beforehand, like you said, just so you know exactly what you need when, and it runs smoother, theoretically. It's never the case, but I do think it helps. So yeah, we had our cast, we had our crew, the shoot was great, I think. Again, I was excited to see the actors in the costumes, in the locations, reading my...
Do you direct
my
it?
words. No, huh?
You didn't direct it?
No, I wrote it, no. No, the director did a fantastic job. We had a bit of a hiccup with the cinematographer, who was also taking on the lighting sort of like side of things. And that was only because we didn't have somebody for lighting.
No, yeah.
Because I think initially we were looking for... We were in talks with somebody on the MA course.
Okay.
But then we were told that there were cinematographers who weren't on a film yet.
Right,
so
okay.
we had to take one of them on board, which is such a shame because they didn't turn up for much of the planning. They didn't get the lights that we needed because we were doing night shoots in the forest. You need some lights.
So maybe
that
there was a reason why they didn't have a...
Well, yeah. There is one scene that I think looks perfect, and it's the campfire scene, and that's because we had a light and we put like twigs on top of it, and we had like a fog machine that I was like wafting.
Yeah.
I had one of the big black flags just off to the side, and I was like going all over the fucking shop, trying to keep this in, and it looks great. But then later on in the film, there's supposed to be like, again, there was... If I had a chance to rewrite that sequence, I would, because it was supposed to be sort of like he's sort of the main character, who is this witchfinder, who's being haunted by what he thinks is the ghost of a woman that he condemned because she refused his advances.
Right.
That's the main idea behind the story. And
story of your life.
So at this point, he's like walking around this forest at night, after having like these intrusive dreams about her, and he keeps on like seeing her in the distance and things. And we had this kind of like wicker figure that we had the costume on top of, and the idea was that he like sees her and gets up close, and then it's just this like wicker thing.
Right.
Initially, we wanted it like hanging from a tree or something, but that was quite complicated to do. And because of the lighting, like everything looked like it was in the same place, and there wasn't any kind of like geography to it.
No, yeah.
And
So
that
different.
was the issue. That was one of the issues, but also the other issue was I don't think I'd written the suspense in there that I wanted. So yeah, doing it again, I would just like make that bigger sequence.
Yeah, when I remember, because I watched it probably a good year or two ago, maybe. I do remember it being a lot of nighttime.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's quite ambitious for you to try and like that. And like you said, that you lose the geography by filming at night. Sometimes you're like, why don't you just film at a studio?
Well, yeah.
Can't see anything.
Yeah. Even if we had done like day for night, I think that would have given it its own flavour. But again, I really like the scene. I love the dialogue, and I love the look of the scene around the campfire. I think that's great. And then it turns out that it was the friend of the girl who was killed, who has been working with the Witchfinder's like apprentice. They kill him off. The apprentice assumes the role of the Witchfinder, and they go off to the next village that they were going to anyway. And then it's revealed in the last sort of... Actually, that's a spoiler. I'll leave that. Spoilers. If you guys want to watch it, you can watch it. Yeah, there are things that I would do different, but I was very proud of it. It didn't... I think we might have put it forward for a festival or two, and we didn't really say... Oh, we got nominated for an RTS, but it lost to another film that we were in the sort of balcony area of the RTS Awards.
As well, yeah.
And our editor was very drunk because it was obviously a lot of free booze.
Yep.
And when the team behind this film who came up on stage like accept the award, they were also a couple. And like he was very sort of like, oh, I couldn't have done it without you. I love you so much. Thanks for making this film. He was a bit of a knob, but that doesn't really excuse our editor shouting and going, boo, it was crap. I was like, yikes. Oh shit. So we had to like bury our faces, and then we left, and then he kept on drinking. And Russell T Davies was at that RTS.
Boo.
Boo.
Crap.
But like we were like, right, we're not gonna stay for very long. We left, but we left around the same time as Russell T Davies did. We were on one side of the street, like we'd crossed over, and he was on one. And this guy just kept on like shout, Russell, and we had to like herd him away, and we were shut the fuck up.
God, that's not good.
No, we got into a Spoons. He immediately threw up in the Spoons. We got kicked out of the Spoons.
Well, great night. It's going well.
Then we had to like make sure he got home okay. Damn. Yeah, so that's how Maleficium ended.
And I thought mine was bad. We'd lost to a war film, but that's not. It sounds like you were in a war.
To be fair, that War for Benighted, right?
Yeah.
Good film, but I personally prefer, like, again, I like the production value that went into it.
Yeah.
But again, the production value that went into Disappearing Act was good.
Wow.
Vanishing Act. But I prefer Vanishing Act, if I'm honest. Like, I prefer the story and the characters. But yeah, that was Maleficium. That was my grad film. Very proud of it. Like I say, there are things that I do different, but I think that about most films that I've made.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, whilst I was doing grad year, you were taking a year off, and then you came and did...
Yeah, well, I'll just quickly go over the other little thing. So obviously we finished up, because when did the year... It felt like the year always ended like quite early, right? Apart from MA, which went on for like the full year.
Yeah.
But the BA seemed to like stop at like June.
Yeah.
Which I guess is like a normal school year, but not when you're fucking paying for it, is it?
No, I want the worth
so
of it.
whilst we were doing, whilst editing or finishing up was done, we basically, I don't know if it was the tutors or someone put us in touch with various MA students that also were doing a film. And there was one that was, I think it was a cinematographer and a writer that was looking for a director and also someone to help out on story. So me and Dan went to meet them. We had some meetings with them, and we went through a few things. But this writer, like he kind of was up his own arse a little bit, and he didn't really. I don't think he knew what he wanted. Like once we were like, oh, you've got any ideas? Where I've come along, and he brought like a full script that was like 30 pages long. It's like, what are we supposed to do with this?
A short film.
Yeah. So it's like, what are we supposed to do with this? And eventually, the writer then left. He dropped out. So it's like, well, how are you dropping out? It's your thing. Like what are we gonna do? Like you're the. So he left, and then it was like,
right. You didn't have an obligation at that point. You could have also gone.
That's true. But then their cinematographer was like, well, what if I direct? And you guys, do you want to write a script? And we can make it as part of the MA, you can have another film. Okay, well, we still got a few months. We can do this. And then eventually, I think we pitched an idea. And then the cinematographer who was going to be director then decided, I want to shoot this. I was like, right, okay, well, we've basically gone all the way back around. And now I'm writing and directing it, and you're just shooting it, and then we've got to find crew from, I think the editor, I think it was an editor as well, which was partnered with him as well, that we didn't see until later on. So I was like, okay, well, I guess we got an extra film, and that became Grandma Knows Best. It was about originally it was about a young boy, a grandson, that was basically grieving, and he brings back his grandma as a robot. Before any of that AI shit, we were there before you.
I mean, AI's been around a lot longer than you realise.
And then basically, so our casting process, then everything got flipped. We couldn't get a grandma. Could not find a grandma for the life of us. So like, right, okay, well, what about granddad? And there was this young actor that we'd cast as the boy, as the son. And then he was like, I'll play the grandma. Okay, I guess. Like, we were literally like a week from shooting.
Right.
Or whatever. So we were running out of like options. The script had been written. We had the location, which was incredible. It was someone my mum knew.
Did you not have asked like Inga or someone?
We did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
She said no.
Yeah, she was like, no. Because I remember we went to her and we were like, we were just like, we need a grandma. So then the actor that was going to play the grandson played the grandma, and he went, oh, my partner, she acts. She can be the granddaughter. So everything got shifted around. At that point, we were just like, okay, well, we got to. So... we shot in.
What an interesting thing for their relationships to have to go through.
We shot in it was like a bungalow, but it was on stilts.
Yeah.
And it was basically it was like a museum, so it hadn't been touched since because it was this old lady. It was her house, but she had 3 houses, but she didn't live in that one. And it was up in the.
Could she not have been the grandma?
Oh, she was ancient. She was 94.
Is that not what you want?
Not that old, and she couldn't hear anything. And we filmed up in Tinton, which is a really rural, up in the sort of in a valley. And this house, this ancient looking house, it kind of looked like a sort of, on the outside, it looks like one of those chalets you get in British holiday places. Yeah. And inside there was newspapers from World War II and shit. And there was so many. I remember we went up for a recce and we did some test shoots, and Dan was just looking through these old books and things, and it was like, what? This, it is like a museum. And then we got up there. We had a crew together, and I gotta admit, at that point, I was a bit sick of it. I was going through some shit as well, so I was like, let's just get it done. The guy, the actor who was playing the grandma, fair dues to him, he kind of started with this Monty Python-esque performance, and it should have been at that point where I should have told him to just tone it down a bit, but I didn't. Right. So it became this very odd thing that didn't have the heart that the script has. It just didn't have it at all. But the location was great. The crew we worked. I was doing 5 different things. It was one of those shoots where I was directing. I was, a first AD. I was a runner. I was doing 4 different things and trying to keep it all running and keep it going together. We had CGI elements we had to do. There was some sort of weird flashbacks, so we didn't have the cast for, so we had to kind of piece it together with us performing as body doubles and then do the VO afterwards. It was a whole thing, and I remember staying overnight because I was the only one that stayed overnight, and it was creepy as shit. It was flies buzzing around, and it was really quiet and dark.
You were the only one who stayed?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh.
maybe they didn't like me.
Yeah.
But I did think with all the places, this has probably got a few ghosts in it. If any place is going to have it, this ancient place is probably going to have some ghosts.
Right.
The shoot went okay. We got everything done in time. The film looked great. It looked really nice. The cinematographer, Deuce to him, like it did really well. We had some falling out with various people, and but it got done. It got made. It was all right. I go back and forth on it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, we managed to do it, and I think the actors had a good time. And obviously, we haven't said, but I mean, I assume your actors didn't get paid much, if at all, right, for your things.
It was
right?
expenses.
It was bare minimum,
and we fed them.
Yeah,
quite well. We made
cooked
a point of
yeah, cooked meals.
Our producer did when we were like doing the forest shoots and things. We did like the night shoots. We had because I think she was in the rainbow or brownies or whatever you call it, scouts. One of the others.
Rainbow brownies.
So she did.
Damn, we just have meal deals.
Oh no, she did like jacket potatoes and stuff.
Nice. Yeah, because I didn't have cooked food on set until we started working together.
Yeah, I find that very important. If we're not paying anyone, feed them and look after them.
Yeah. Meal deals only get you so far.
We had
so many meal
we
deals.
had hot dogs in the in Cosmoston. We had like a little gazebo set up for
cool.
break time. And when you're not on set or you're not filming, just sitting there and chill out. I made some brownies. I made some vegan.
The
brownies.
only like counterpoint to that is that pretty much every shoot I've ever been on, chances are the break isn't a break for everyone.
Not for the crew. The actors get as much time as they like.
Yeah.
No, crew. You get 20 minutes at most.
Yeah.
Whilst the actors are on their hour break. But you're setting stuff up, or you're talking about what you're setting up next and things.
Yeah, you can break one at the end of the day.
But yeah, we did cornflake cakes at one point.
Oh, they're pretty good.
Yeah, and they're dead simple and easy to do. And you can, because I think we had like 2 vegans in the cast, so I made a point of doing some like vegan like bakes and things.
Nice.
Just to kind of, again, you're not getting paid. You're getting your travel. Yeah, this will be good for your show reel, but here, like, chill out. You can, feel at ease and just do your best work.
But yeah, so Grandma, I remember the cinematographer being like, there was something, because he was a bit arrogant, and I remember at some point, like, there was some arguments because he was like getting annoyed with people, and kind of people had to bite back and go, look, this is we're helping you on your film, like don't
bite the hand that feeds
exactly you. Yeah. And also there was parts like when it was done he wasn't happy with it, and that didn't help any of us, so like, okay, well, there you go. Just to quickly wrap up, I also helped out, so I met Peter in third year as well, who was doing MA when I was doing BA, and I helped. I did boom up for his first film. I went on location, which was freezing, but this time I did not come equipped. I was shitting out. I was cold. It was on a beach. It was bloody cold, and I was just stood there obviously with the boom. And also we got like harassed by like I don't know what it was. It was some sort of swarm of like these tiny weird flies, and it was horrible. But then we kind of kept in contact and things, and we all did. And then he was doing his grad film, which was The Bend in the Whip. And I was brought on to help with the story because I was doing Grandma Knows Best. So it was like we were in 2 different units. So most of the people I'd worked with on BA did Bend in the Whip, whereas I had like a scattering of the other people that we sort of knew. So I helped with the story of that. I didn't go to shoot, so I didn't get to see Cosmeston, because that's where they filmed as well. And then the only other quick story I'll tell as well is that we had also helped out with another MA student that was doing he'd done like a little short film, and I think I did Boom Up, or I did something like that. It was called, what was it called? Missing, I think. And we always joked about that it should have gone missing because it was just something or nothing. Yeah. And then he was doing his next one, and we were having meetings with him, me and Dan, and I'll never forget. We told him, we were like, look, you got to get a move on, like the script is not quite there, and he had done this story, and it was nice enough. It was about these people falling in love. One was a guy who stayed at home and just had like curries from an Indian restaurant like delivered, and then he was sort of having a relationship with the driver.
Right.
That she was like leaving notes for him and things like that. It was all right. But then all of a sudden he turned around. He was like, "Got this new idea. Here are all the storyboards." We're like, "Okay, storyboards, right?" And we were looking at them. and We were like, "Damn, they're like, they're not like pencil drawings. They're like animated like frames."
Right.
And we're like, "This seems a bit weird. Like he's gone from having nothing to all of a sudden having these like fully cartoon storyboards."
Yeah.
So we do, and then we noticed some weird like things written on like in the boxes and things that weren't matching up to what. And like there was this name that kept popping up that we were like, what is this? I can't remember what it's called. It was like a title for something. We're like, what is this? And then I thought, I'm gonna YouTube this name. And I YouTubed it, and he'd only gone and screenshotted a short film that already existed, and tried to palm off his own idea.
What?
And that was one of the. I mean, we found it kind of funny, but also insulting to us for our time. And I remember.
But why would you do like it exists? Why are you? That's so
he just
weird.
Screenshotted the film, and the story was the same, and he just put them on storyboard and gone, "Yeah, this is my film." And so we didn't work with him then. That was it.
Of course.
So yeah, on that note, I shan't keep you any longer. That was third year. I think mine was pretty successful. Lots of highs, lots of lows.
Yeah,
lots of
same.
in-betweenies. I do also remember having a sort of a rap party, getting very drunk, saying stupid shit, and then the next morning with a hangover, remembering that we had auditions to do.
Wow.
And I met Mike. Make-A-Wish Mike, and I was really not well, and I was trying to do this audition with him, and I was basically not sober yet. And I was like, this is great. That's it.
Yeah, well.
Good life lesson for me.
Yeah, don't have a rap party, and we've decided we've stuck by that with Dead Dog Walker. We've never had a successful rap party.
I guess to finish it, if anyone's wondering if to do film at uni, what would you say?
Yeah, go on.
I reckon, why not?
If you want to make films and you don't have the equipment,
that's true.
I think a main one for me was I didn't have equipment. I didn't have like enough people to build a proper crew.
Yep.
And I didn't have the skills at the time.
Mm.
Go to uni.
Go to uni now.
Go to uni. You get the equipment, you get shown how to use it, you get to experiment, you get to have fun, you get to play around, you get to make new friends. You also get to leave. What's that?
Friends?
Colleagues. You get to make new friends. You get to leave home, which is, for me, it was a big thing. Like I was
hate home, do you?
I don't hate home, but I was a bit like, what am I doing? I'm in a job that was good. Like I enjoyed my job, but it's just like there's got to be more. I've got to if I want to do that thing, I need to go out and I need to push myself. And I was out of my comfort zone completely.
Yeah, same.
And I'm not good with new people. I still am not. But I mask it and I try my best just to pretend that I do like new people until they become old people, and I'm like, good, I'm comfortable with them now.
Until they become old.
Until they're people that I then know.
How long does that take? Hour wise?
It depends. Hour wise. Well, there's 24 hours in a day. I don't know. A good couple of months
of pure like engagement with them.
Well, I mean, I go home at the end of a day and I'll sleep and I'll come back again. But yeah, pretty much every day I'll just like glare at them.
Damn, a couple of months.
Yeah, I think so. It depends.
Like
It depends on who the person is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so go to uni.
Yeah, give it a go.
And then when you're done with it, if you're like, I still haven't made all the films I want to make, and I couldn't afford to go out into the big meme world and do that on my own, do a master's as well. Don't bother about the actual course. Fuck the actual course. I remember I was behind on the feature script that we had to do for masters, and I hadn't really done any of the check-in meetings, and my head was all over the place a bit, but also we had started working on Make-A-Wish, and I was in with a lecturer, and he was like, "Yeah, I think you do just need to like focus on it and things, and you know you kind of get an extension if you need, but like I have heard that you're working on this other project that I think is maybe taking your focus away," and like to his face, I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I do agree. Like I do need to focus on that." And I'm so glad I didn't, because I'm like, yeah, this script was fine, but like it was a story that I was passionate about, and it's a true story, and he was like, you need to stop like anchoring so much weight on the truth of it, and I'm like, no, that's like it's a fiction film. I was like, yeah, whatever.
There's a balance.
Yeah, there's got to be a balance, but like I'm like, well, I like the story. People that I've shown it to like the story, and I think if I revisit that script, I could rework it and do it justice. But at the time, I had made a new friend. We were making the project. It's now got an RTS. So fuck you. Not going to say the name, but we know the name. Yeah. It's a geezer who gave himself a nickname.
I mean, I was going to say the feature script is the best thing I did in MA. So you know.
The best thing you did at what, on the course? Are you?
Yeah. No,
wow.
No.
You got an RTS for the other one. So
anyway,
it's got to be good.
Maybe return to MA one day. It'd be a lot shorter than this one.
Oh yeah, I guess we could do an MA.
It'd be a bit shorter.
Yeah, it would probably be about 10 minutes of bitching, and then we'll go. But we made Make-A-Wish.
Bitching.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are ending.
That's
now.
almost an hour and a half. Fuck it out.
Thanks everyone for tuning. If you did tune us, we really we love.
Thanks
you.
for listening to the first 20 minutes. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I've seen the stats.
Yeah.
Do you want to give anyone that's listening this far like a really extra spicy bit of like trivia or something, some drama?
I'm trying to think. I haven't really got anything off the top.
You fucked your dog, right? Anyway,
fuck my dog. No! Don't stop there. I didn't. He
got in.
He fucked his Hitler cat. What?
What?
All right, bye.
Mine cat.
Mine cat.
Mine's a cat. Is that what happens when you get off a train?